And welcome everybody back to another live stream on the TKW Facebook page. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we are in the final hours of waiting in the waiting room for this significant storm that's going to be coming to the St. Louis area. And you can see popping up on your screen here, you can see what we're going to be discussing here. We have upgraded to a significant winter storm this weekend. Is there still a shift possible? We'll break that down, the scenarios. We'll go over the latest timing, the amounts, the brutal cold that is expected regardless if we see snow or not. And we'll be answering your questions. So if you have any questions during the live stream, make sure to put them in the chat and we will get to them. So lots of new information to go over. We will be going over our official total as well in the live streams. So welcome everybody. Glad to see you guys. And let's get started. And here I am. How are you guys doing today? Give me 1 second. I have to get my accessory on. Sorry about that. And I have to turn off my lamp back here. Okay, we are ready for the live stream here. And how are you guys doing today? Glad to see you guys here. How's everybody doing? Looks like we have Dad in the chat and we have a couple other people in here as well. So welcome. How are you guys doing? Let's get right into the live stream because once again, we have a lot of information to go over. So let's put this away and let's take a look what's on the radar here. So if we just pause the radar and we just look at the warnings, you can see that we do have a winter storm warning. It is scrolling at the bottom of your screen, but wanted to get a little bit of detail here because we technically have 2 winter storm warnings. So how's it going? The Peta Pig, glad to see you here. I think that's how you pronounce the name. But we do have 2 winter storm warnings, and this winter storm warning for Lincoln, Jersey, Pike, the northern half of our area, does go in effect at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So not at midnight like the other ones, but this snowfall forecast from the National Weather Service inside the warning is 4 to 7 inches. So that's part of our area, but you can see it does include 238,000 people in some cities like Troy, Missouri, Litchfield, Jerseyville, places like those. But the big talk of the town that's going around is this winter storm warning, and it is going to be going from midnight tonight. So right at midnight, the winter storm warning is going to be in effect, and that does not necessarily mean that right at midnight is going to start. That's just when they're going to issue it. And they expect it to go all the way to 6 p.m. Sunday. And like I said, it's just an estimate of when they think this will be over. So that can always change. They can always extend it. So I just want to let you guys know. But on the screen, it does say heavy snow expected. Total snow accumulation is between 6 and 12 inches. And of course, we'll get right into the data and we'll see if that verifies with what's actually going to be happening. So I do want to let you guys know before, as I'm pulling up the model data, is I have been a little bit slow on releasing my snowfall totals just because it is still a little bit shaky. It is still a little bit shaky. So we are going to go. Andrea, how are you doing? Glad to see you here. We are going to go over the snowfall totals. So as we're going over the snowfall totals, if you can make sure to share the live stream, I really do appreciate it because this is what we want to see. And I wanted to wait till we got till Friday to really get an idea of what's actually going to be happening. So John Durham says, will we be able to go out and get cheese curds tomorrow evening? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely we'll have cheese curds available at Culver's. They'll probably be open, but it will not be so. So before we get to the snowfall here, the snowfall forecast, I'm going to do it a little bit different. And I'm about to tell you, it's just a little bit of talking time. So the snowfall maps. At this point in time, you cannot go on the models and look at the snowfall page. It's just going to be wrong. There's a 10-to-1 ratio, and there's that other snow model. You can't use that at this point of the game. What you have to use is this screen that you see on here is the rainfall forecast. So you have to use what liquid is going to fall. And why we say that is because, like we mentioned in our past live stream, the snow is just going to be so dry, and it just, the ratio and the temperatures are just off. Okay, so we can't use the ratio. So I just want to let you know as we go through the snowfall forecast that we are going to be using the rainfall instead, and then we're going to convert it. So we're going to do a little bit of math here, everybody, but I will be doing it for you. It'll be okay. So, hello, Christina. Glad to see you. Also, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Christina. I hope you're having a great birthday. We are going to be enjoying snow, so glad to see you here. But let's go ahead and talk numbers here, and I'm going to be showing you different forecasts here. So right here on your screen, this is the GFS model, and it is showing about, let me get the epic pin up real quickly. It is showing about 0.4 inches of snow or inches of rain to the St. Louis area. And in my forecasting, we're going to be using a 13-to-1 ratio. And I have the math over here real quickly. Let me see if I can get that. Sorry, 1 second. Have to get the math up here. So, okay, here we go. So let's go back to the GFS, or you know what, we'll just go in order here. And so the first model here is we have the European model. This model is showing about 0.6 inches of rain. So let's see, let me just mute this real quick. I apologize. Okay, sorry. And 0.6 inches of rain here, and that's about equivalent to almost about 8 inches of snow. So about 8 inches of snow for most of our area. You can see a little bit lighter, like 7, 8, 9 inches of snow. But I just want to let you guys know, if you're in the southern part of Jefferson County, if you're near Potosi, if you're near Farmington, if you're near especially Rolla, you're going to be having the most highest potential for snowfall rates that could lead up to a foot. But most around the St. Louis area, keep this number in mind as we go through all the models here. So 0.6 is essentially almost equivalent to about 8 inches of snow here. We go to the actual European model, and this has been consistent, but you see how it is a little bit north with the totals. The AI model was a little bit south, so you can see we're still, like, it's happening in a few hours, and we're still uncertain here. But here's a 0.6 range, means about 8 inches of snow here. But now let's take a look here at the GFS. Now look at the GFS. It has our area with the heaviest pushed to the south, almost near Cape Girardeau, Carbondale, near Potosi, southern parts of Jefferson County, Farmington. Places like those have the highest area, and those are in the 0.4 inch range. And with the snow ratio, this is only about 6 inches of snow. So the GFS is about 6 inches of snow, and our other model is 8 inches. So right now we have a window of 6 to 8 inches. And if you're just joining, we are using the rainfall forecast because the ratios on the snowfall map is just going to be off. You're going to be wrong. It's not going to be accurate. You're going to be upset. So we can't use that. We have to use the rainfall forecast. So far we have gone through 3 of the models, and so far we're in the 6 to 8 inch range. So there we go. So as we keep going here, that one is not really going to work. You can't use the HRRR just yet because it's not all the way through. Now we go into the ICON model, and now we're about the 0.4 inch range. Sounds familiar. That's 6 inch. So still we have no agreement is what I'm trying to say here. Like I said, we're hours before the event, and we still have no agreement on what this is actually going to do. And in my personal opinion, there's no correct number. There's a lot of numbers going around. There's no correct number. And you can see right here. You can see right here that so far we're in a 6 to 8 inch snowfall range. So right now we're still uncertain exactly how much we're going to get, if we're going to see the foot. But let's keep going here. Let's see. Can you figure out how am I supposed to get to work on Sunday? Yes, we'll go over that in just a second. We'll go over timing after we go through snowfall totals. Let's see. Ashley Michael says, call an officer. Oh, you guys are talking together. Velvet says, just tune in. How much before noon? Deciding if I should cancel clients. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. We'll get to that in just a second. And vacation day for everybody is what we recommend. So we're just going to keep going through the snowfall totals, but to answer your question real quickly, Velvet, it looks to be about 1 to 2 inches that could be possible, but we'll get to that in just a second. But this is just the total accumulations, and then we get to the North American model. The never accurate model is showing that most of our area is in the 0.6 inch range, is equivalent to 8, almost 9 inches of snow. So right now we have 3 that are for 8 inches, and we have 2 that are for 6 inches. So, like I said, it's still wobbly right now, even though the storm system is over the Rockies and is moving our way. But you can see with this model, it pushes it back up north. And you can see the higher end snowfall totals are basically almost south and along I-70 and I-64 in Illinois. So that is something to note. But like I said, we're going to keep going here. Now we go to the NAM 3K model. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's okay. And now you can see it has it shift to the south. So you can see here, back in the 0.4 inch range, that's 6 inches of snow, equivalent to 6 inches of snow, roughly, that we will be seeing. So right now we're 3 for 3. And does that make sense, everybody? That it's just, there's no accurate total is basically what I'm getting here. And you can see when we get to our other model here, there is another dividing line that is shifting south. But what has been staying consistent is our folks down near Potosi, Farmington, DeSoto, Sullivan, over near the Illinois side, Waterloo, Columbia, O'Fallon, Highland, places like those, all staying consistent with the snowfall. So heavy snowfall we do expect anywhere along I-44 and south is most likely guaranteed, and anything along and north of I-70 is the question mark of how far it is going to reach and how far the snow will actually accumulate as we get up there. So that is that. But let's go into the timing here because it is a little bit tricky. And I'm going to show you 2 different scenarios that can be happening. And I know I got one question here. It says it's a little bit confusing, and I just want to be honest with you. It is a little bit confusing because this is a very, very tricky system. So, like I said, my current prediction, we could at least see 8 inches of rain. 8 inches of snow. Now, is a foot out of the question? No. We could still see a foot. But like I said, it just matters what happens. If it goes north-south, what happens? So, it's unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, but it's just one of those things that we just have to wait. We can all take a guess, but we just have to wait to see exactly what it's going to be. But we have more totals, but let me get into the timing because we spent a little bit too much time on the snowfall totals. So let's go into the timing, and once again, just like our videos, it's going to be at the top part of the screen. So right now we are at the timing, so let's pay attention here. We're going to show you 2 scenarios here of what could happen. So let me make sure we are all good here. Okay, so right now as we're going to sleep and outside, we are just fine, nothing to worry about there. As we go into the morning time, I think most of the morning time up to about 9 a.m. will be just fine. So if you have to go to work in the morning on Saturday, most of the area will be fine. And if it does happen to snow, it is not going to be the heaviest part. So, but listen, it will be fine, but look as we get into the afternoon time. You can see the darker colors start to pop on the screen, which is showing some heavier snowfall. So you might get to work okay, but you might not leave work okay. So basically, right here, this is where we're going to be accumulating our 1 to 2 inches at the beginning of the storm. So right here throughout the day, most of the day, all the way into the afternoon, we will be seeing the snow. You can see all day heavy snowfall rates at times. And remember, it's going to be cold and powdery. It's going to freeze. It's going to stick everywhere on everything. But as we go into the evening time and the afternoon time, we have to watch to see if there's a break. And in my personal opinion, if there's a break in the action, the snowfall totals could come down. If it snows all day Saturday and the first system and the second system just love each other so much and they connect and they just snow all day, we could possibly see up to a foot of snow. So that's how that foot of snow is possible if it continues to go all day. But it does have a slight break. And then as we go into Sunday here, this is where we're going to see the most of our snowfall. So this will be the rest of the 6 to 5 inches of snow. And you can see it's going to be snowing the whole time, but you can see with the HRRR here, the strong cutoff that it has right here. You can see the high pressure pushing down. You can see the waviness and the lines here, but you can also see the low pressure that's coming on in, not even knocking before it comes in. And you can see that it's going to be going all day long, all evening, and it's not going to be moving out. This model doesn't go all the way, but it's going to be going into the afternoon time. So I want to let you guys know, but you can see, I don't know if you've seen when we fast forward, but the most heaviest part stayed along and south of I-44. We do see confidence and seeing the highest totals to the south here. So let's go to a different scenario here. And you might be hearing that the Euro model has been the most reliable. I would say, for the record, that the Euro, when it comes to snowstorms, it is pretty accurate when it has to work with the cold air. So that is something to note. So we are going to be using the Euro model here. And basically this one has the same story, but this has snow starting just a little bit earlier. You can see 6 a.m. down here. It's already towards near our friends down in Rolla, Potosi, near a little bit of Sullivan, and near the Farmington, almost Cape Girardeau area. And by the time we get into Saturday morning, look at this. It takes over the whole entire area. All of our area is going to be seeing snow. Like, I just want to throw it out there. There's no way to get out of the snow. And also, there is going to be no ice. No ice, so we're not seeing any power outages. We're not thinking any power outages. There will most likely not be any power outages. But you can see, look at this model here. You see the Euro here, how it keeps going all day with the snow. Like, it just doesn't stop here. And then it intensifies as we go into Saturday. That will lead us to almost a foot of snow. And that was the Euro giving us that high side of the snowfall rate. So like I said, we really have to watch out what it's going to be doing in the middle part of the storm. If we get a break, those snowfall totals could come down. If we don't have a break, the snowfall totals could go up. So that is the two scenarios right now. I'm leaning more towards it's going to be snowing all day. So that is what I am leaning towards. Amy said, I told many people about you today. I really do appreciate that. Hello, Joanne. Glad to see you. My dad is wondering, what about the wind? Yes, that is a good question. Will we be having blizzard-like conditions? Will we have blizzard-like conditions? And why I get the wind map pulled up, I also want to let you guys know that MoDOT is not, they think Wednesday. They want to go with Wednesday because it's going to be the warmest day of the week. So that is, we'll go over the temperatures in just a second. But just letting you guys know, this snow, no matter how much we get, it's going to be around for a while because I don't see temperatures going above freezing till around like February 2nd. So that is that. So if you love snow, it's going to be around for a little bit. But let's go into the wind gusts because I got a lot of questions about the wind. So I'm glad my dad brought up about that. So let's go into the wind forecast. You can see we do have some gusty winds, almost near 15-20 miles per hour. But blizzard criteria needs 32 miles per hour and above consistently for at least 4 hours to get a blizzard warning. And I'm just not seeing that here. It will be gusty. the snow will blow around a little bit because it's that powdery snow. And it's powdery because we don't have a lot of moisture. We had a lot of dry air coming down, so that's how we get the dry powder snow. So that's why we're not having any wet snow. And the snowfall totals are going to be higher because when you have wet snow, it tries to melt on contact. When you have dry powder snow, it just accumulates. So that is why we do have the higher totals with this system. But like I said, snowfall, wind gusts, you can see even as we go into Sunday, the winds don't start to pick up until the system leaves. Not while it's here, it's while it leaves. So that is something to note right there. Matt says, dang, yeah, but I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that kind of sounds normal for MoDOT, but at least they told us this time, so at least we already know. But, you know, in my personal opinion, everybody, let me go to this screen. Hey, everyone, the 23 of you guys that are here and anybody who joins, we're going to have a conversation here, so give me 1 second. Okay. Test. Okay, there we go. Okay, real talk, everybody. We're going to take a quick break because I need to tell you guys something. Okay, this is the honest side of Team Kenny Weather. Okay, real talk. We're going to take out the graphics and we're just going to have a quick talk. Okay, listen, everybody. So, a couple things I need you to remember. It's going to snow. Okay, there's no way to get out of it. It's going to snow. It's just going to happen. We are going to have some high snowfall totals, okay? We could have up to a foot, okay? I want you to be prepared to see a foot of snow, okay? It's going to be possible. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no way to lowball this and say only a dusting. It's most likely going to happen, okay? About 8 to 12 inches of snow is going to be happening. There's going to be no power outages, okay? No power outages are expected because it's a dry, powdery snow. You're going to be able to pick it up and go like this and drip it like it's some pepper, okay? So it's going to be dry powder snow. It's going to be okay. And this is not our first snowfall, St. Louis and our surrounding areas. This is not our first one, okay? We're used to this. We've seen this. We had the one right before Thanksgiving that dropped overperforming amounts of snow. Some places got a foot of snow. It's going to be just like this. And it's on the weekend. So just stay home, okay? Just stay home. We will be okay. MoDOT is going to be out there and we're going to get it done, okay? So we got this. It's okay to panic. I understand you want to panic, but it's okay. We will be just fine. It's all snow. It's not ice. It's dry powder snow, okay? So we got this. We got this, okay? So let's go back into the data. Let's take a deep breath. We will be okay. We're going to be able to see out our windows. Our car is not going to be buried. We're going to be okay. All right. Let's get back into the forecast now. Okay. So now that we got that taken care of, let's go back here because I know some of you guys get a little bit nervous, but we will be okay. We will be okay. I'll be right here the whole time in the weather center, keeping you updated and letting you know. But it's okay to panic, but we have seen snow, everybody. Okay, we have seen snow. Illinois is doing the same. Yes, Illinois is doing the same. So let's go back over the totals again. Let's go back over the totals. What's crazy is the people that don't listen to any warnings at all. Yes, that is very true, and unfortunately, it is how it is. Some people just want to wait to see when it happens, but I think we're past that stage, everybody. I think we're past that stage, and it's time to be serious. And hopefully, wherever you're at, you're comfortable where you're at because we won't have much time to adjust tomorrow and after this live stream. So, just want to let you guys know. But let's go back into the models here. And like I said, we're going to see up to 8 inches of snow. Very low end, I think we could see You know, this gives a better representation. Let's go to the National Weather Service here. But like I said, we are going to see snow. Just want to throw it out to you. We're going to see it. It's going to be on the ground. All of our areas, even in Illinois, it's going to be seeing snow. So let me get the forecast up here. This is from the National Weather Service. So let me get this pulled up a little bit. So the National Weather Service has a ballpark range of 6 to 11 inches of snow for our area. And remember, we're a couple hours out and we have a huge ballpark of numbers. That's 6 inches of snow. And I'm not sure if you guys seen a ruler before, but that's a big difference. Either you have the first half or you have almost all of it for the snowfall. So that is a huge difference in totals. Like if you just get a half 6 inches of snow versus a foot of snow, is a huge area. And like I said, you can see the dividing line here is still very close together. If we just shift about 50 miles south, we could be talking in a lower range. But like I said, most of the area we're going to see accumulating snowfall, at least past 4 inches of snow. But the official National Weather Service forecast for most of the area is 7 to 11, not the gas station, the inches. 7 to 11, and then up near Troy, north of I-70, 6 to 10, which is roughly the same. And then further south near Steelville, Farmington, 7 to 12 inch range, and also near the Raleigh area. So that is the additional forecast from the National Weather Service. And just to show you, this is the ice forecast. This is the ice forecast. See, no ice, okay? There we go. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. You will be just fine. No ice. So now let's have a little bit of fun and let's show you the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, it has not changed from the National Weather Service, but we could see 13 to maybe 14 inches of snow will be possible. This is not a guaranteed amount, okay? This is just the high end amount. So if it overperforms, we could be talking near a foot. And that's basically just what I mentioned there. We could be talking near a foot of snow. Raleigh could be 14 and almost 15 to 16 down in Springfield. You can't see it on your screen, but that will be a little bit crazy. A little bit farther south near Cape is going to be just a little bit lower because might have some sleet mixed in. I'm not really forecasting that at all. I do think that it is all snow at this time. Deborah says, speak the truth, love you. Yes, I always try to speak the truth. I don't want to scare you. I just want to let you know what can happen. So take a look here, everybody. Take a look at your screen. This map, if you see a map that ever says like 9 in 10 chance, 90% of higher snowfall, that just means the low end amount. And like I said, the low end amount, you can see most of our area is either getting 3, 4, 5, or 6 inches of snow. The yellowish area here that I'm outlining, this is all 6 inches of snow. So Sullivan was right near there, but Potosi, Farmington, Chester, all the way near Nashville, Salem. We'll throw Carbondale in there as well. That is going to be around the 6 inch, very least. Now we go up to the north. You can see the wavy potato chip that we talked the other day about. That is near the 4 to 5 inch range. And this is almost like what we're guaranteed to see here. So we're at least going to be guaranteed to see 4 to 5 inches of snow. And then the further north that you get, you're still at least going to see snow. So like Troy, Jerseyville, you're at least going to see 3 inches of snow. That is what it's saying. Hey, Brian says, I'm down with crazy snow. Me too. Uncle Eric and Aunt Jeanette is in the building. Welcome. Special shout out to them. And a special shout out to everybody that is watching the live stream. I really do appreciate it. So that is the snowfall total map. And I'm going to be showing a couple other things. But if you have any questions, drop it down in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But do want to throw out there, I really do appreciate so far. We are at 882 followers. Never thought we'll get there. We're so close to 900 and 1,000, so that's pretty crazy. So Here is the National Weather Service probabilities, everybody. Welcome. Whoa, okay, not that much. Okay. So this is the probability of seeing zero point 0.1 inches of snow. Okay, we got it. We're going to see something good. 1 inch of snow, we're going to see it. 2 inches of snow, everybody's going to see it. Now we get to 4 inches of snow, and that's where it gets a little bit crazy here. It gets a little bit crazy because look, you can see 92% is very defined here that we could see 4 inches of snow. And that's fairly confident, almost 100% chance that we will be seeing 4 inches of snow or more. And it's also confident up above that we will be seeing about 4 inches of snow as well. So once we get past that, it starts to get a little bit uncertain. And once we get to 8 inches of snowfall, mostly anything close to 70% is likely. So it is likely that we will see 8 inches of snow, maybe slightly higher towards the south. And real quick before I answer your question, Holly, real quick, let's cancel this out. We do have the 12-footer on here. And the probabilities for that is low, 21%, 25%, but it all depends where it ends up is where we see it. And then the probability of seeing 18 inches of snow, you can see hardly anybody, if not anyone, is on there as well. So Holly has just joined the chat. Everybody, welcome. Holly, how are you doing this evening? Glad to see you. We are expecting a little bit more for your area. We could see around the 8 to 9 inch range for the snow. So the snowfall forecast is about 8 to 9 inches of snow. But like we mentioned earlier, I wouldn't rule out a foot of snow. So it is considered significant. My opinion, anything past 4 inches is considered significant. So that's why we do have a significant system. That's why we have the winter storm warning in effect. But like I said, there are always, in my opinion, there's always a chance that it could be a little bit too high of a totals, and we could only see about 4, 5, 6 inches of snow. It just all depends how it sets up. And now to show you real quick. So we'll go back to the HRRR, and hey everyone, glad you're here because we are about to go through some new data right off the printer from the HRRR. So it is coming through right now. Let's take a look to see what we have because I am very curious to see what it shows here. And also I want to mention we have been quiet about the weather page because honestly, I mean, it's going to snow. The totals are just very wavy, so don't really want to blow up your feed that much of just talking about the same thing. So that's why we do have the live stream in place. So let's go ahead real quick before I answer Bryce's question about St. Peter's. Just want to see what it's thinking here. So this HRRR is still being consistent, showing that we do have some dry time before at least 9 o'clock, and then we do have some snow that will be moving in by the afternoon time, and it looks like it's going to be going through most of the day on Saturday, and it's still showing that break. And remember, we did talk about how a break in the snow could limit the impact, so that is what we're thinking. Hey, Bryce Kenneth. Oh, I love the middle name, if that's your middle name. That is a great middle name. My personal total for you is on the low side, 5 inches. High side, we could see a foot, but more around 8 inches of snow. 8, 9 inches of snow, maybe 7 is what I'm thinking. So between about 7 and 9, on the low end 5, and then on the high end a foot of snow, if that makes any sense. But that is the total that I am thinking. So there is that. And oh yes, we should all be excited about the snow. And like I mentioned before, we will be okay. We'll be okay with snow. We will not be okay with ice. And once again, I have been hearing reports that Louisiana is going to be using Old Bay seasoning as their chemical treatment for their ice storms. So that is going to be great because you know how much they love the seafood down there. So that is going to be very nice. And, it's going to be nice when, you have to drive on the road. You turn on the circulation and you smell seasoning. Oh, yes, that would be nice. We will probably most be, if the salt doesn't work, which it probably won't, if the other brine chemicals that were just for decoration, in my opinion, that's not going to work, we are probably going to resort to toasted ravioli, okay? So don't be surprised if you see the world's famous Emo's toasted ravioli being a chemical for the snowstorm. So, okay. Sorry, everybody. So, like I said, let's go back over into the totals and let's go to the average here. Because the HRRR is still running, so we can't really necessarily use that at the moment. But let's just go back over to the totals for if you're just tuning in. And, oh yeah, Old Bay, yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't know if they're actually going to use Old Bay, but I wouldn't be surprised. But, yeah, let's go back over into the totals and let's catch you up to speed if you're just tuning in, because we did go over this earlier in the live stream. So let's go over here. And like I mentioned before, don't use the snowfall model forecast. Don't use the 10-to-1 and don't use the other one. And really don't use the total snowfall because it's not going to give you the most accurate number. You have to use the rainfall, the QPF, to get the accurate model, to get the accurate snowfall amount. Don't use the snowfall model. So anybody that's showing the snowfall model is not using it correctly because the ratio is not going to be the same. So here we go. We're going to compare the models here. And once again, let's take a look here. This is our long range models. So let's take a look. The Euro has been staying consistent with 0.7, and 0.7 is about a foot of snow on the high end and about 9.4 on about average. So that has been staying a little bit consistent. You can see most of our area is around that area, and towards the southwest is a little bit higher, and towards the southeast, way towards Metropolis, Superman Country, and all the way near the Kentucky border of Illinois is going to be seeing the highest totals. But like I said, we're going to see snow regardless. We're going to see significant snow regardless. So that is why I want you to know. So about 9.4, 11.7 on the high end, but that is using a 10 to 12 ratio and a 10 to 15 ratio. And that's basically, 15 to 1 ratio, 12 and 13 to 1 ratio. And that's 13 to 15 inches of snow per 1 inch of rain. And you can see this is 1 inch. This is the rainfall total, and we're not seeing 1 inch till we get around Rolla area. Thinking all start 9 a.m. tomorrow. That is what we're currently thinking, is when we can see that. And we will most likely be live. I think we'll be live, not the whole time, because it's just me. So we won't be live the whole event. We might take a break, and we'll be going into Sunday, but we will be live, so don't you worry. So GFS has a little bit of south. So you can see here, look at that. Euro model is north, GFS is south. And this is the latest data that we have for the live stream. See this, everyone? Look, north, south, north, south. So it still has time to shift. That's what we're talking about in the intro. And if that happens, we're in about the 0.3 inch range, which is almost equivalent to about 5 to 6 inches of snow, which is the low end amount. So that is why I want you to know. So, and then as we go into the NAM is way high. High, deep, home run at Busch Stadium. It is showing about 0.75, 3/4 of an inch of rain, which is about equivalent to about a foot of snow. So you can see like how drastic the totals are. And normally, at most snow systems, at this stage of the game, will be at the same amount all across the board. So, and then we go to the RFSS model, RRFSA model. Try to say that 5 times fast. It is over near the 0.7, 0.6, which is equivalent to 9.4 to a foot of snow. So, and then you have the UK newer model, which is in the zero point 0.4, which is about the 6-inch range. So it is trending towards the higher amounts, closer to a foot of snow, but 8 to 9 inches is probably the safe middle ground. But on the low end, we could be near 5, and on the high end, we could see near a foot of snow. But it just all depends if we have a break in the storm, how long it takes the dry air to overcome. If we get a late start past 9 a.m., that will throw out the totals. So there's a lot of factors that are still going to be trying to get worked out. And I want to let you guys know, if you see any model data past midnight, it's now casting. So it's going to be changing a lot. This is the data that you want to look at right now, and the data that's coming out a little bit later before midnight to get a real idea of what's going on. So basically what I'm saying is we're going to see snow. We're going to see significant snow. We're going to see all snow. We're not going to see any ice. We're really not going to see any sleet. And we're not going to have power outages. But what you just need to make sure you're doing is dripping the faucet so we don't have water pipes breaking with this going on. So that is what I'm currently thinking. Does anybody have any questions so far? You guys always tell me how good of a job I do, and I answer all the questions. I really do appreciate that. And like I said, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. And if it pauses, don't go out and venture it. I want to see photos from your house. And I know we all want to be on TV, but we don't need to be shown on a MODOK camera or on the news being seriously injured. That's not how we want to make the headlines, okay? We want to be famous by winning lots of money to be on the news. So don't be on the news. To stay at home, let MODOK do his thing. And like I said in the press conference, you can go watch the press conference. They have it on the MODOK's Facebook page, but they said that it's gonna be tough. And they just posted it today. I forgot to mention it, but they just posted today that they already know that they won't be able to keep the roads clear at all times. They say they won't be able to keep up. There's just no way. So the Matt is saying, what is the QPR mean? The QPR is the quantitative precipitation rate or rainfall. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what it is. It sounds right. I'm pretty sure what it is, but basically it's just a fancy, or the QPF is basically just the total snowfall in inches. That's basically all that is. So, but this, you can see all the models. Most of them are trending towards the north near higher snowfall totals, but we do just have a couple outlier models that we just have to watch, because there's always that one that downplays it or over forecasts, and it turns out to be the right one. So just a lot of variables that still need to be worked out, and also that we really won't know till it happens. So that is the main thing. So wow, it looks like we have 30 likes on the live stream. I really do appreciate that. So, like I said, breakdown, everybody. Breakdown number 1, snow. Breakdown number 2, if you panic, it's okay, but we will be okay. Number 3, all snow. Number 4, if you panic bought and you bought a lot of stuff, make sure you invite me for a buffet. Okay? Number 5, make sure you monitor my Facebook page and join the live stream so we can keep you updated, okay? We'll be here providing lots of updates around the clock of what's going to be happening. And number 6, we do have high probability of seeing big snowfall. So those are the 6 things I want you to remember. So, does anybody have any questions so far? Do you agree that they issued the winter storm warning, or do you think we should have kept it an advisory? I think the winter storm is appropriate due to the guidance that we could see a foot of snow. We don't want to just say, hey, it's possible. We need to let you know. We want you to be prepared. So I think the winter storm warning was issued properly. Edward Reese, aka Dad, says remind everyone to make faucets drip due to the cold weather so pipes don't bust. That is correct because believe it or not, we do have a cold weather advisory in place. Okay, looks like we have a couple questions coming in. Give me just 1 second, but I do want to let you guys know here if it pops up. We do have a cold weather advisory. So cold weather advisory, not extreme, but we do have a cold weather advisory that is also in place. So we have winter storm warning and a cold weather advisory. Hello everybody, winter is here if you're not aware. We have cold weather and we have snow. So that is that. So let's get to the temperatures real quickly. This is just for the Missouri side. I'll get to the Illinois side in just a second. I'll get to those questions in just a second as well. So, temperatures for, let's see, this is Saturday, 6 a.m. through Sunday. Let me take this off the screen. This is the wind chill. The minimum wind chill, we could be minus 10 below, almost to minus 15 in spots. So it's going to be very cold. So Natalie is asking about how long outside and sledding with the temps. No more than 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes. And make sure you recognize and you know about frostbite. So you know if you're about to get frostbite. So, but the temperatures here, we are going to be cold. We're barely going to hit the teens. Downtown's always a little bit warmer, but most of us will be in the single digits, which is really going to help the snow to stick, the snow to fall, a lot of snow to fall, and the chemicals not to work. Now we go into Sunday or Monday into Tuesday, you can see wind chill values are below 0 as well. So that is that. And if we go to the cold weather advisory, I think they turned it off. No, let's see. Let me turn on the cold weather advisory and we can take a look to see what the National Weather Service is thinking. And then we'll get to Tony Neal's question. So here we go. Cold weather advisory is now in effect until noon Saturday. Okay, noon Saturday. Very cold wind chills as low as 15 below 0 is possible. So it's until noon Saturday. The dangerously cold wind chills as low as 15 below 0 could result in hypothermia or frostbite if precautions are not taken. And honestly, in my opinion, everybody, I think the cold weather advisory will go all the way into Monday, if not a cold weather warning, which is almost like a wind chill combined into one. So basically, they're just telling you it's going to be cold. So that is the temperatures. But let's go back to the timing, because Anthony or Tony is asking about the timing. Glad to see you, Tony. How's it going this evening? Hopefully you're doing well. But I want to let you guys know that it's okay to panic, but should we panic? Just a little bit. Just a little bit of panic should be needed, but not a lot. So, because everybody, you guys always let me know that I am so calm when I present the weather, and it's like so relaxing. Someone sent me a message that I should start doing audiobooks. So I thought that was funny. But you guys love how I just, stay calm. It's okay, everybody. Now, if we had ice, I will be panicking, running around in circles. But we're not going to see anything really that dramatic. We're really just going to see some snowfall. So latest timing that we have, the latest data that we have And let's put this back up here. Timing is at the top here. So you can see Friday, January 23rd. That's today. Everything, or let's get to the right one. Okay, so here is the model. Okay, here we go. Timing for everybody who is still here. Tony says, going well, staying warm, great reporting. Oh, thank you. I really do appreciate that. So timing here, let's put the preset type so you can see what we're looking at. And we can see what we're seeing about snow. All right, so rest of tonight is going to be fine. Don't worry about the rest of tonight. Okay, let me get this just right. All right, so most of the day, you can see most of the morning is going to be fine. But you see how the snow is like, it looks like there's an invisible wall here. Look at this. You see how there's an invisible wall and it just doesn't want to pass that line? That is the dry air. That is dry air that is limiting the storm. It's like a huge X that is on there. It's like, no, we don't want you here right now. So the early parts in the morning, this is 6 a.m., looks to be fine right now. And as we go into the later half of the morning, right around 9 a.m. is what we're thinking is when we're going to start seeing the snow come through. And that's when we think that the shield, that X, is just going to slowly start floating up out of the way to let the snow come in. So you can see right around lunchtime is when we're going to see the heaviest part of the snow, and this is really only where we're going to see the first 1 to 2 inches of snow, but I can't rule out that it may be a little bit heavier. But as we go into Saturday night, this model doesn't do the justice just yet because it's not all the way through, but you can see it redevelops a short pause, and then this is where we're going to see the heaviest snowfall. You see these huge dark colors of snow. That is the heaviest part of the snow. So all of our area is going to see heavy amounts of snow in the area, and you can see it goes all the way into Saturday as well, and then it doesn't almost leave until we get into about 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So that is that. So it's going to be mostly all day, but here, take a look. Like we mentioned earlier, if it pauses at any time in the duration of the event, that could alter the snowfall totals. That could limit the snowfall totals. So that is something to watch. And since we have the full model run, but it is going to be done by Saturday afternoon. But if we get a lot of snowfall totals, MoDOT is not going to have it done by Saturday afternoon and evening. So potential impacts from Monday could still be possible. And I am forecasting that the side roads will probably not even be touched by the time we go into Sunday night. So the highways might be cleared, and if you have a street that leads to the hospital or any crucial place, might be cleared. But as far as neighborhoods and stuff, I think it probably might be till like Tuesday, if not Wednesday, till it's fully cleared and it's almost safe to do so. And then we have those cold temperatures. They can plow it, but then we have refreezing concerns because the salt is not going to work. So, or the salt is really not going to be effective. And the brine that they put down, everyone, it's just a decoration. It's good if we have a little bit of snowfall, but it's not going to work when there's a foot of snow on the ground. It's just not designed for that, and it's not designed to get down to temperatures this cold. It really only works when it's about 20, 25 degrees, at the max 15 degrees. So that is that. But let's take a look at this fresh data and see what we're thinking here. Okay, so this is pretty interesting because this newest data that we have, the newest data, is showing, the sharp cutoff almost right near I-44 here, about 0.5 inches of rain, which could be near the 6-inch mark, and then a little bit up, we could see totals near almost the 4-inch mark. So this model is a little bit on the opposite side of things, and you can see in the Illinois side as well, especially near Redbud, Festus, Potosi, DeSoto, Farmington, places like those, even Perryville, will have the highest snowfall totals where that could lead to a foot. So, and that's just because it had the break in the forecast, so the totals are slightly below. So, it's just something that we really have to monitor, and we'll mostly be live. I'm not sure what time. I think we'll probably start at 9 a.m. to see how it plays out. We'll be up before then, but we probably won't start a live stream until about 9 a.m. Go through, I guess, most of the day, and then we will probably pick up sometime in the evening and do some more coverage as well. So a lot of coverage coming your way, but you can see the newest data that we have is currently projecting places towards the south, seeing a foot of snow, and places a little bit north of I-44, at least on this model run, only showing at least 4 to 6 inches. So that is what we're looking at. So down here, almost near, let's just put 9 to 12. And then up here, we will put about 6 to 8. And then up here, we will probably do about 4 to 6. So on the latest data here, that is currently what the map is. Higher totals towards the south. Right in the middle, let's go ahead and put an ISO 12. Because we can't rule that out, just in case a little bit sneaks up. ISO 12, and then we can't rule out an ISO 8 for that. So, and then we could potentially see more depending how the band sets up down there. But that is what it looks like, at least on this data that we see. So, other words, significant snow is coming to the area. So we are going to see snow, plowable snow, and it is going to be very helpful if you guys stay inside. Make sure you guys send in videos. We'll get you up on the Facebook page. And to stay inside, stay calm, don't panic. We're going to see snow. We have seen snow before, and we're not going to see any ice. So that is the honest opinion. That is my breakdown. That is the forecast. So there you guys go. So do you guys have any questions? Any questions, comments? What do you guys think in the chat for the few people that are here? What do you guys think on the totals? Do you think we're going to have a big snowstorm? Or do you think we're going to have a little bitty snowstorm? I also do appreciate all the shares and also all the likes. I really do appreciate that. But like I said, at the end of the day, we're going to have a snowstorm, and we're going to have significant totals, and we're not going to have any ice. Thank you. So that is the snowfall totals. And cold weather is not going anywhere time soon. So that is what we're forecasting here. The warnings are going to stay in place. I think the amounts are really not going to move much. So we do have a wide window. We just have to see where the heavy snow band sets up. So, like I said, we'll have live coverage in the morning. What's going on? We do have our camera system that we will be monitoring as well. I will show you that if you guys did not see that. We do have our live cameras here. You can see we are watching here. And it looks like something is going on at 70 at Mid-Rivers Mall. So that is something to look at. But you can see we will be having all the cameras available to us. So we're going to be monitoring everything here right in the studios. We will also be outside recording the video. I know a lot of people told me to do it. You guys enjoyed it. So we will have another video where the snow is sticking to my mustache and the eyebrows. So that video will be coming. So, but you can see right here, we will be watching there. Not really sure what's going on at Mid-Rivers Mall. So, also real quick, since we do have the traffic cameras up, MoDOT did not pre-treat today. They did not pre-treat today. I think they're, charging their batteries. So, they did not pre-treat today. But other cities did around the St. Louis region. Matt is thinking 8 to 12. I think that's a reasonable number, but I will probably downsize it to about 7 inches of snow. But on the high side is a foot of snow, and it very well could be possible. But this thing about someone in Sullivan will have a highly different total than someone in Fenton, and a higher different or lower different total than Warrington. So everybody's going to be having different totals. There's just not one flat out total, and it could shift at any time. So, but like I said, the probability of seeing nothing, don't even think about it. We're going to see something. So that is that. So yeah, not sure what they're doing at Mid Rivers Mall, but we'll keep you updated on that. But with that being said, if you guys have any more questions, I'm just going to stay on just for a little bit. And if not, let's prepare for the snowfall. We're all going to be inside. We will be live. And for the couple people that are still here, we're going to be testing out our 24/7 live stream. So we will also see that. So when I'm not live, we will also have the live stream going that will show the radar, some graphics, and we will have the traffic cameras that you see right up here. So we're going to be working around the clock. Little sleep is going to be happening on this side of the screen, but we're going to keep you prepared. We're going to keep you updated. So we will be just fine. Not really thinking about any power outages. And it's very risky about how Monday's going to look, but I have a little bit of confidence that it's not going to look good. So that is that. So stay around here just a couple minutes. See if you guys have any questions. If not, we're going to wrap up the live stream so I can look at some further data. And we'll be keeping you updated as well. So let's see real quick while you guys are thinking of questions. Let's see if we have any data rolling in. Because this is normally when the data starts to roll in here. So we do have a little bit, 20 hours out. So the NAM 3K here. Just want to take a look. But remember, everybody, remember that you can't look at the total snowfall. I'm going to say it 1,000 times. You can't look at total snowfall. It's just not going to be right. That's why we did not show it on the screen today. But this model is still showing that dry air may be overcome early. So you can see, like I said, there's just a wall. There's just a wall, and it's just trying to get there, and that's the dry air. It's almost like someone's driving this way, and someone is pushing you this way. It's like tug of war, basically, is what's happening with the dry air. So dry air on this side, snowstorm on this side, and it's battling until the dry air just says, you know what? I just can't do it. And then you can see the storm moves all the way through. And this actually shows pretty heavy at times. So this does show a little bit more of the higher snowfall totals. So Natalie says, thank you, Kenny and team. You're very welcome. Very welcome. We do have our forecaster behind the scenes, aka Josh. He is also letting me know that it is a very tricky forecast. It's basically how he described it. It's a toss-up. At any moment of the time, it could shift north at last minute. It could shift south last minute. So totals could go way up to a foot. It could go way down to just a little bit. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Thank you and your team for a thorough forecast. Hey, Antoinette, I really do appreciate that. It is a very generous comment. Thank you so much. So Andrea also says, I really do appreciate your guys' nice comments. Thank you so much. No, it's just a one-man operation over here. And, like I mentioned last night, I'm just going to tell you, I don't do this to make money. I do this for a passion. I really like the weather. I like telling people about the weather. And it's like, I never want to go to like a TV station because I don't want to be forced to say stuff. And I don't want to hype it up when there's nothing to hype up. So I love doing this as a passion. I love telling you guys exactly what's going to happen and if it's actually going to be that bad. So that is what I love doing. That's why we have it on our homepage that we're honest. We are honest here, and we'll always be honest. No need to panic. No need to scare you. There's no need of that. So, what's this? Relax. Stay inside. It's going to be nice. Open up the windows. Not like the window to get the cold air in, but windows so you can see the beautiful snow, because we love snow during January. And, it's going to be a good time. Nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be scared about. There's no need to panic. And all I ask is if you overbought food, just invite me over for a buffet. If you need help getting rid of some of the food, just have a buffet. Invite me. I will be there, and you'll be taken care of. So, just want to throw that out there. Dad also says, thank you, son, LOL. Oh, yeah. Someone just sent me a text message. They like to comment about the Old Bay seasoning. I just thought of that. Because, seafood and the Old Bay seasoning. And, they're not used to having snow and ice down there. So, it's just basically a joke that they're not prepared. That's what that is. So, that's all that is. But, like I said, we'll be okay. And honestly, it's going to be something. It's going to be a snowstorm. But it's just nothing to get scared about. That's all I got to say. Nothing to be scared about. Nothing to panic about. Let's just stay inside. Let MoDOT do his thing for a couple days. And, we go back to normal. So, but I'm not gonna scare you, but we're just watching some more stuff next week. So, we'll probably have the Sunday weather video posted at 4 p.m. Depends on what's going on, but we will have a weather video up at some point on Sunday for about next week's weather. So we're not going to be skipping out on that. And of course, like I said, we'll be doing live streams. We'll be doing live updates. I will be outside measuring the snow, keeping you guys updated, keeping you guys safe. But I don't want you guys to be out. I don't want to see any pictures of you being on the highway. None of that. We don't need to be on the highway. Nothing. So, but we will be okay. Matt says, thanks for everything. Be safe. I will. You guys as well. And without any other questions or comments, I think we're going to wrap up the live stream here. So, if you guys have any more comments, I'm going to be finding the outro. And if not, we will most likely see you. Well, we will see you tomorrow for an update of what's actually going on the ground. But just remember, take home. Go to sleep thinking about almost 8 inches of snow for some of the area, and we will be okay. So, without further ado, I think we're going to head off now. We're going to look at the data. We'll post anything that does change with the news data that's coming in. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the likes and shares and follows. I really do appreciate that. That does mean a lot to me. And we'll see you tomorrow for the big day, everybody. It's here. It's the big day. And unfortunately, we can't bet on this one. We don't get $300 free bet. So it's tomorrow, everybody. So make sure you get lots and lots of sleep because the tooth fairy's coming on by. So, all right. I'm just yapping. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And we'll see you online on Facebook for further updates. And one thing I forgot to mention is that if you want to watch on the YouTubes, if you want to put us up on the TV, it is optional, so you don't have to jump back and forth. It is Team Kenny Weather. The same name here, it's the same name on YouTube, and we broadcast there simultaneously on the YouTube. So you get the same exact cover, same exact time, and that is that. You can keep us on TV, phone, computer, background, whatever you want to do, and it's ad-free. So you don't have to watch the ad every time you go on my live stream. So even better, right? So, all right, everybody, we're going to hit the outro here, and we'll keep you updated around the clock about this system. Have a great night. Be safe. Stay inside. Don't panic. We will be okay, and we won't have any power outages. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow, and have a great night.